The PlayStation 2 is the most popular console of all time. It has a ton of really rare and sought after games that are really expensive. I should know, because I've spent a ton of money to buy a lot of them. Hey guys, I'm RNG Gamer. I play all my games randomly, and this is my PlayStation 2 collection. It's one of my biggest collections, probably one of my most expensive collections, and one of my most favorite to collect for. I have so many games for the PlayStation 2 that I couldn't even fit them all in the thumbnail for this video. The first game is a first-person shooter, has a really interesting cel-shaded look. It's 13. And I did play this a little bit. I did not think it was super great. I know some people absolutely love it. I know it's gotten a remaster here recently. I don't know what was going through my head when I played it, but I just couldn't get into it. I don't know what it was. I only spent maybe an hour with it really to just kind of try it out. It's not in the backlog anymore. Should I put it back in the backlog? Should I get the remastered version? I don't know. Let me know. This is a game from an RPG series that originally came out on the Sega Saturn. I've never played any of them. Looks like an okay game. It's Ark the Lad, Twilight of the Spirits. And from the back of this, it looks more like an action RPG, or maybe, I don't know, like a free-roaming game like Diablo? I don't know, I have no idea. I don't even know where I picked this up. This is another RPG from a series I've never played. Once again, I picked this up in a trade from Bucky. I don't know what he got from me, but he ended up like throwing in a whole bunch of games that he had gotten from somebody. It's Artanelico, Melody of Alemia. I remember something, there's a meme with this, that there's some really bad voice acting or something like that. I can't quite remember.
Orca, this is my first time. I can't be sure that I won't hurt you.
It's okay. As long as it's you, I can take the pain.
Okay then, turn around. Ready?
Never played this. I think this has become like kind of a high-priced game. And this one was in that same deal. It's the sequel to the game I just showed. It's Artanelico 2. And this bad boy right here, get it out of the box. It's sealed. This game is still sealed. This is pretty pricey. I think these are maybe tactical RPGs. I'm not really sure. I have no idea. I'll get around to this one day. These are all in the backlog. If I haven't played them, they're in the backlog. Of course they're in the backlog. I haven't played it. I don't think I've played this one in particular, but I'm pretty sure I've played every game on here. This just has a bunch of like Atari 2600 games. You can see what's on there, like Centipede, Battlezone, Breakout, all that sort of stuff. I played the Atari 50th anniversary celebration not that long ago, and that was 104 Atari games. I've had my fill of Atari for a little while. This one I have played a ton of, like an insane amount of. I played all the way through it multiple times. Love this game. It is a Diablo style game. It's Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance 2. This is a great game. For a while there, it was pretty pricey. I don't know why I have this on the PlayStation 2. I think I have the first game in the series on the Xbox. So I played them both originally on the PlayStation 2, but as I started collecting, I picked up the first one on the Xbox and then this one on the PS2. I don't know why. It's just the way it works out. This is a remake of like a classic adventure RPG, I think, on the PC. And then it's been remastered again since then. This game's been remade like multiple times. I've never played any of them. I'm kind of like scared to dive into them. They look really like overwhelming. It's A Bard's Tale. Looking at the back of this one, it looks more action-based than like deep computer RPG-based. I'm not sure. I don't know, it's in the backlog like everything else.
We should point out that in all the games you've covered thus far, you've only actually played one of them.
I knew you were going to show up and say some crap like that. I play my games, I'm working through them. Sorry I've only been through like one of these so far, but they're all in the backlog. I'll get to them. And why are you dressed like that? I get like it's Halloween and it is the season to dress up, but why specifically like that?
It's what Instagram said would give me the most views.
Well, they're not wrong. People have been waiting for a sequel to this game since it originally came out. I thought it was really good. I'm looking forward to the sequel myself. I did play this and I finished it, but I believe I played it on the GameCube. It's Beyond Good and Evil. This is an action-adventure game. It has like some platforming elements. I thought it had a really cool like cel-shaded look. I enjoyed it. I thought the characters were really good. I forget her name and I forget her little buddy. She has like a little critter that follows her around or something or talks to her. I can't remember, man. I just remember it being good. I liked the art style to it. Some friends of mine were playing this in college, and I thought it looked great. They mentioned how hard it was, and we were just kind of getting into like first-person shooters at that time. Halo was around, and we'd all played Doom and stuff, but like your modern console first-person shooters you would expect, this is the first time I really remember anybody playing one like that was really into it, other than Halo. And it's black. I still haven't played this. I have not played it at all. It's in the backlog, but it's supposed to be absolutely great. I wonder if it's still as hard as what everybody was saying, or if like people just weren't used to the controls back then. We'll have to see. I played this over Christmas break my freshman year of college, and I thought it was a fun game. I never finished it, but I got really deep into it. It's Blood Rain. You basically play as this like sexy half vampire here, and she's a vampire hunter, and it takes place during World War II, and you're trying to thwart the Nazis, like evil cults. They're trying to get some sort of like mystical item or something like that. It's basically the plot to the movie Hellboy, now that I think about it. But it was pretty good. It got challenging at the end though. Like I said, I never finished it. And this one I played just a few years ago, maybe like 4 or 5 years ago. That's just a few years to me. Okay. It's Blood Rain 2, and this was a Blockbuster previously sold game that somebody picked up, and then I grabbed it from them. It's more of the same. I have to say I only put a couple hours into this one. I was not as into it as I was the first one. I think they like re-released the Blood Rain games on the PS4 or something like that. Maybe I should go buy them and play them again. I do like the Blood Rain character. I also saw that terrible movie, the Blood Rain movie. It was so bad. God, it was bad. That was a bad movie. Who did that? Was it, what's his name? Yui Bowl? Or whatever, that makes all the terrible video game movies. Like, it's like his goal to just make the worst movies possible. I've heard rumors that it's like a conspiracy, that he's making bad movies and losing money is like a money laundering scheme for like an organized crime syndicate. I don't know if that's true, but I don't know how he would continue to get financed to make movies in any other way. Because they don't make any money and they're terrible. Like, why would any production studio bankroll him for that? What do you think about that? Is it really like a money laundering scheme? I kind of hope it is. Add a little bit more spice to this world. Not that it's not spicy enough. I don't know what this is. I feel like I've never seen or heard of this game before, and if you asked me if I owned it, I would say, nope. But here it is. It was in this stack. I just got to it. It's bombastic. This is a freaking puzzle game, apparently. I don't know what the deal is with this game. I've never heard of this. What is this? Where did I get it? I mean, it was put out by Capcom. Look, Capcom put it out. I don't know. I've never heard anybody mention this. Never heard anybody say anything about this game. Was this a launch? This was a launch game for the PS2. I can't remember. Around launch period. It was done by Square Enix, and people thought it was going to be like an RPG, and it ended up being like kind of a really short beat-em-up game. It's The Bouncer. And I did play a little bit of this. I did not finish it. I got this in a big collection that I bought off somebody else right when I started to collect, and I didn't spend much time with many of the games. I was like in a big rush. It was about collecting more than it was playing at the time, so I just like popped them in and played each one for 30 minutes and was like, that's good. So this one I probably need to spend some more time with. But I do know Pete Dorr, who's like an OG and still around YouTuber who I love and is a huge influence on me, loves this game. It's Call of Duty time. I'm not going to go into a lot of these, but I'll say which ones I played. I did play this one. Call of Duty 2, Big Red 1. I played about halfway through that one. And Call of Duty 3, I played a little bit of that one. This is the one where like the guy's facing the wrong direction and the guy behind him's like, dude, the battle's this way. And he's like facing into the camera and shooting. It's so funny. We're to the first shoot 'em up. Okay, I have played this a little bit. It's in the backlog because I want to like one credit clear it and play all the games in the series. I have all the games in the series. But it's Castle Shikigami 2. And the Castle Shikigami games, they're not highly regarded, but people seem to like them okay. And I'm really looking forward to playing this. The only one I've spent any real time with is Castle Shikigami 3 on the Wii, and I don't even remember that one very well. So they're all in the backlog right now. Just picked this one up at the Southeast Game Exchange not that long ago. I played all the way through this and I beat it when I was in college, but I want to play it again because I'm really into the series now. It's Castlevania Lament of Innocence. And with this one, Konami took the game into like a Devil May Cry sort of direction. It's an exploratory like hack and slash game. I thought it was really good at the time, or pretty decent. I know a lot of people don't really like this game or like the games in the 3D Castlevania series, but at the time I thought it was pretty good. Of course, that was like 21 years ago or something. I played through this right after I originally played through Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance 2 because I was looking for more games like it. And this is just like Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance 1 and 2. It's Champions of Norath, and it's like an over-the-head Diablo-style hack and slash game, a dungeon crawler. I thought it was really good. I don't remember thinking it was better than Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance 2 or 3, or 1 or 2, but maybe it's better than 3. Isn't 3 terrible? That just came out not that long ago. Anyway, I liked it. I played all the way through it. It's been a long time since I played it though. I picked this up based on the cover for 2 reasons. One, it looked really cute and bubbly. The second reason is because of this right here, Atlas. If it's Atlas, it's going to be rare and expensive. And I thought I found a really good deal on it for like 10 bucks. Turns out it's really only worth $10. Chorokyu. It's just a racing game. I don't know anything about it. Burn rubber, baby. That's what it says at the top. It's an Atlas game for 10 bucks, so I grabbed it. Maybe it'll be worth like $5,000 one day. Probably not, but we can hope. I found this one at a yard sale many years ago. I have not played it. I haven't played any of the games in this series. They're all in the backlog, like usual. I'm waiting on the remaster, not the remaster, the re-release of the first game on the Super Nintendo to come out. Once that does, I think I've got them all. But it's Clock Tower 3. And that's what somebody paid for that at GameStop, by the way, $5. I think I paid even less than that. I think I probably paid about $1 for it. But Clock Tower is a survival horror game where you play as this female who's running away from this psycho with like, he has like old school like hedge clippers and he's chasing you. I don't know much about Clock Tower 3. I have seen people play through Clock Tower 1 and 2, but I know people love the series. I owned this when it originally came out on the PlayStation 2 and I thought it was like the most impossible game I've ever played. I have not really gone back into it since then too much other than just to try it out. It's Contra Shattered Soldier. And this is just a standard side-scrolling Contra game like you would want. And this was pretty well received as I recall. I know a lot of people said it was really short and it's very difficult, but I think it's kind of like Contra Hardcore in that like, once you know where to stand, the game becomes very easy. This was a series I never really got into much when I was younger. I have the re-release on the PS4 of the first 3 games that I'm working through, and I think I have the 4th game as well, but I can't remember. It's Crash Mind Over Mutant. And you play as Crash Bandicoot, I guess. These are like 3D platformers, right? They're not, no, these are like 3D collectathons. They're not like pure platformers like the original games. Maybe that's what I didn't like about them. I don't know. I always pick these up whenever I see them, although like I really suck at the series, but they are fun. It is kind of a pain to set up though. My daughter likes them. It's Dance Dance Revolution Extreme, DDR Max 2, and Dance Dance Revolution Supernova. I think a few of the Dance Dance Revolution games can get like kind of rare and expensive. I don't know if any of these are those, but they're fun. If you've never played DDR before, you like put down a mat on the floor and it's like Guitar Hero except you're dancing. And I'm terrible at it, as you can imagine. I mean, look at me. Does it look like I'm a great dancer? I'm actually okay. But these games are a challenge and I wish I had one of those like solid DDR mats or the pads that are made out of like metal that are weighted. The one I have is like the squishy kind of like foam one and it slides around on the floor and all this and the foam breaks down over time. I don't know. Someone make a DDR controller you can use with your fingers, man. There's got to be a market for that. Does that already exist? If it does, let me know. I would be interested in grabbing that. Believe it or not, I've had a few people recommend this game to me in the comments of like other videos. I played it before they recommended it. I did not think it was a very good game, and the reviews from back in the day also did not think this was a very good game. It's Dark Angel Vampire Apocalypse. And this is like a over-the-top hack and slash, kind of like Diablo, but not nearly as good. The main character was okay, but it was pretty boring as I recall. Not much of a challenge, or maybe it was too hard. Anyway, I spent a few hours with it and just stopped. People love this game. For a while, it was kind of sought after, a little pricey, but I don't know if it's gone up or down since then. It's Dark Cloud, and I remember my college roommate playing a ton of this. Dark Cloud is interesting. It's a combination of like a dungeon crawling RPG and a town builder game. So like the world has been destroyed or whatever, the town's been destroyed, you go into the dungeon and collect the materials to like rebuild the town. And the sequel is considered to be, more of the same, but a lot better. Now I did play this one as well, just a little bit. I did not finish it. I really could not get into the Dark Cloud games. As I recall, they were made by the same development team that did Ni no Kuni, and I did not like that either. As a matter of fact, none of the games they've made that I played I liked. And that happens sometimes. Like a developer just has a style that doesn't resonate with you. And I know people will be like, you don't like Dark Cloud, I love Dark Cloud. That's totally fine. I don't know, it just didn't grab me like I wanted it to. I want to love it. I want to love every game I play. I really do. I want every game to be like the greatest thing ever. But that developer just like, I don't know. They just don't hit it for me. Played this and reviewed it not that long ago on this channel. It is not a good game. I did not have a good time with it. It's the remake of Defender. And you fly around like Star Fox style and you sort of capture little dudes to save them, or not capture them. You save little dudes, you get them to like the base, and you have to do a bunch of escort missions. There's just a million enemies attacking you all the time. Like you can't play the game, there's so much stuff going on. I did not have a good time with this game, and I did not finish it. I put a lot of time into it, though. I wanted to beat it, but man, having to replay the same missions over and over again to like grind for points to buy upgrades for your ship was not fun. Not fun. This is one from that same time period where I was like spending very little time with each game. I was more interested in collecting, like I said, than I was playing, and I didn't spend a lot of time with this. It's Final Fantasy VII Dirge of Cerberus. You play as Vincent from Final Fantasy VII, and I don't know, he's an assassin or like a spy or something, and it's like a corridor third-person shooting game. And a lot of people didn't like it because it's a different style than Final Fantasy VII, I think. I didn't think it was bad, but it didn't really grab me either. So, I don't know what to think about this one. I played the fourth game in this series. Oh man, my voice cracked. Oh my God. I played the fourth game in this series on the PS4, and I went into it not really knowing what it was going to be, and I fell in love with it. So I wanted to make sure I picked up the first game in this series on the PlayStation 2, and it's Disaster Report. And you can see good old rip-off Hayden Panettiere there on the front. But the Disaster Report games are really interesting if you've never played them. They are the same premise every time from what I understand. Some disaster takes place and you play as a character and like you're just trying to like get out of the city after the disaster happens. But all this really zany, weird stuff happens. It's like crazy Japanese, over-the-top bonkers things. Like you get kidnapped and tied up, and you have fetch quests that are like, find me 9 fish because I can keep my sushi restaurant open. Like, it's very strange. But I really, really, really liked the one Disaster Report game I played, and I can't wait to play this one and the rest of them if I can find them. I normally don't get movie tie-in games, but this one was in a big lot of games I bought, and people said it was decent, and I played it, and it was a decent racing game. It's Disney's Cars. It's one of the best movie tie-in games I've ever seen. It plays the cars from the movie Cars, and it's just a wacky racing game, and I thought it was fun. This is a decent one to pick up. I wouldn't have gone out of my way to grab this, but because like I happened to buy it along with a lot of other games, I just chose to keep it as opposed to like selling it or trading it away. Oh, we got a heavy hitter import here. It's a shoot 'em up. Classic game, considered to be one of the best in the series. My PS2 is not region modded. I have a Japanese PlayStation 2 that I used to play these games, and this just got a re-release, and it's coming out on the PS4, and it's Dodonpachi Daiojo. Dodonpachi is considered to be one of the eminent cave shooters, beloved by a lot of people that really like the genre, and this one is considered to be the best one in the series. And I went out of my way, I paid over $100 to have this sent to me. It's probably way more than that now. I still haven't gotten to it, it's in the backlog. I do get to shmups pretty quickly. I make sure part of the backlog system is that every 15 games I play, one of them has to be a shoot 'em up. So I get through them really quickly. I don't want my skills to like deteriorate from waiting too long between playing shmups. But I grabbed the PS4 version of this as well, but it hasn't gotten here yet. This one's kind of a minor heavy hitter. It just got a re-release on the PS4 as well. The Wii version of this is really pricey, like double what this version is. This is like an RPG comedy Mario Party game, and it's Dok Pon Kingdom. And there you go, it's done by good old Atlas. But I have not played this. Like I said, from what I understand, it's like Mario Party that you play with other people. And like the benefits of winning the mini games are things like you get to rename the opponent. Like the people you're really playing with in real life, you can rename them or like mess up their skills or something like that. It's about trolling the people you're playing with permanently. But what I understand, like it takes about 60 hours to play one game of it. So you gotta have somebody sit down with you for 60 hours and really devote their time to it. I haven't gotten to it yet. It's in my co-op backlog, so I kind of let the people who want to play games with me pick the games from that backlog. No one's picked it yet. I've tried to get people like, you want to play Dok Pon Kingdom? And they're like, uh-uh. This is another beloved RPG series. I've never played any of them. I think they re-released all of these on the PlayStation 4 in a compilation. I have that. But there's multiple games. I don't know if this one's in that compilation. But it's a terrible name. .hack//GU Volume 1 Rebirth or something. It's an RPG. These are kind of pricey. I know the .hack games can be highly sought after. Let me go check the PS4 version and see which ones are on there. Yeah, this one is on the PS4 version. Now, I don't have part 2 on the PlayStation 2. It's also on here as well, but I do have part 3, and here it is. And it's called .hack GU Volume 3 Redemption. Definitely on here. And I was just thinking, like, let me drink my Code Red Mountain Dew here. Such a gamer. I was just thinking, why is .hack here? These games are alphabetical. .hack should be at the very beginning. It's like dot, like period. But I put it where DOT is. I spelled out dot. Why would I do that? I don't know. That's strange. It's funny how your brain like does that. Because on my PS4 collection, .hack is the very first game on the shelf. But not here. If you've ever played Nier or Nier Automata, you may not know that they're kind of like a spiritual, not even sequel, like spin-off. They're in the series of this game. And it's Drakengard. From what I understand, this kind of plays like the Nier games. And I loved those. I gave both of them a 10 out of 10. I have not played the Drakengard games, except for number 3 on the PlayStation 3. I did play that one, but I have not played Drakengard 1. It's a kind of an expensive game, and its sequel, Drakengard 2, is definitely an expensive game, like a over $100 game, I think. Anyway, I went out of my way to grab these. I'm very excited to play those. Like I said, I loved Nier. Maybe Drakengard will really catch me. Drakengard 3 I did not love. I thought it was very good, but it's so hard for anything to be as good as the Nier games. So this next game I have not played. I had it before on the PlayStation 2, and it got picked for me to play randomly, and I popped my disc in, and my disc was like defective. So I went to get it resurfaced, and I came back, and it still didn't work, so I just like trashed it and sold the case. The game was worth about $8 at the time. Whatever the case, years passed, and I found the game again, and it came in its like collector's box. But it's Dragon Quest VIII. And I didn't play it right away. I just put it back in the backlog. It's in there somewhere, but it's like it got bumped way back down. I don't know why I did that. I don't know. People say it's great. I mean, it's bright and colorful. It looks like a Dragon Quest game. But I do remember a lot of people bought that copy of Dragon Quest because it had the Final Fantasy XII demo disc with it. What a cheap tactic to get you to like buy a game. Like buy a game just to get a demo. I don't even like play demos before buying games. I'm just like, I'll just trust my gut on it. And like, hopefully it'll be good. A lot of the time I'm right. I feel like I can judge what kind of games I'm gonna like. Of course, I do play a lot of bad ones too. This one feels like it should be rare. I think it was a launch game. This is actually done by FromSoft, people that do Dark Souls and Elden Ring. I played this a little bit, but like, it was before Dark Souls existed. So I didn't know I was supposed to like put time into this. Maybe I should go back to it. Maybe it totally sucks. It's Eternal Ring. And on the PlayStation 2, if you see this age tech at the bottom, oh man, you know that game's gonna be hard to find. But this is a budget title. It's actually like a first-person exploratory RPG, kind of like King's Field or sort of Dark Souls from what I remember. I only spent about an hour or two with it and I got super stuck. So maybe I need to replay this one. I don't know. But I kind of remember it sucking too. Maybe it's just not worth it. This one's done by Erica. You can see right there, Erica. They're known for putting out like animal-based games, and Capcom published it or whatever. I've heard people say that this is a survival horror game. I don't know about that. I played a little bit of it. It's kind of like a sea exploring game. It's from that same time period where I wasn't focusing on playing my games as much as I should have. But this is one I used to see everywhere, and now like you don't ever see it anymore. And apparently a lot of people like on Reddit are like, look what I found. And I'm like, really? Is that hard to find? Maybe it is. Now this is a series I've gained an appreciation for recently. I think I have them all once again. And I've played a few of them this time. I played this one and I finished it and I really liked it. It's Fatal Frame. You always play as like a younger Japanese girl who's looking for something like her missing sister or something like that. She ends up in like a dark and spooky area, like a house or like a village, and you find this camera obscura, which is an old-timey camera. And everything's haunted, of course. And when she looks through the camera, she can see ghosts around her, and you take pictures of the ghosts to like combat them. That's how you do the battling. And it's a lot of fun, and it's survival horror through and through. And here's part 2, which I've also played. Fatal Frame Part 2, Crimson Butterfly. And this is like a mint copy, believe it or not. Just like about 3 or 4 years ago, you could just go on Amazon and buy these all day for like 40 bucks. Brand new, sealed. And now I guess they ran out of stock or something. The game's going back up in value. But this got a reprint at some point. And like, I unwrapped it and I played it and I put it back on the shelf. But speaking of which, at the same time, I bought this one, which I have not gotten to yet. It's Fatal Frame 3, and it's called The Tormented. And this is supposed to be really good. Mine's still sealed. Like I said, I paid, I think, 40 bucks for it on Amazon. And I'll unwrap it when it's time to play it, unless it's like 300 bucks or something. If somebody wants to trade me an open copy for it. But I have all the Fatal Frame games, I believe, and I'm playing through them as they get picked on the backlog. This was the first PlayStation 2 game I ever owned. I got it when I got my PlayStation 2. However, when I got my PlayStation 2, you couldn't find memory cards anywhere. So I just played the first 2 hours of this game over and over and over again because I had no way to save my game. And it's Final Fantasy X. Very fond memories of this one. It's a classic on the console. And I finished it. I beat it. I loved it. I thought it was a great game at the time. There was a lot of hate for it about like 4 or 5 years after the game came out. But now people are starting to come back around to it and realizing how good it really is. And this one I owned and played a little bit of back then, but I never finished it or made it very far into it. I think I sold my PlayStation 2 while I was playing it. But it's Final Fantasy X-2. And this is back in the backlog, but I have the PS3 remaster of it. Anyway, you play as Yuna and Riki and whatever her name is, and they're like a J-pop group now. And you have a 3-person team, and it's a standard RPG like Final Fantasy X, except you change your classes by switching costumes. It's like dress up RPG with the girls from Final Fantasy X. What's not to like? This one I played a little bit of, and I could not really get into it. Some of the mechanics, I don't know, I couldn't figure them out or whatever. I kind of gave up on it. But it does seem like a game I would really love. That's why I rebought the PS4 remaster of it where they streamlined the mechanics. But it's Final Fantasy XII. And what's interesting is this one takes place in the same universe as Final Fantasy Tactics, which is one of my favorite games of all time. So I should love this one. I'm looking forward to playing again on the PS4. This one's getting a lot of love recently, and I keep seeing it like listed as a hidden gem game. And my buddy who lives out on the West Coast before he moved out there gave this game to me and told me that it was a hidden gem. My voice just cracked again. But it's Freedom Fighters. I don't know, man. From the back of this, it looks like a squad-based shooter. I'll give to it. Everyone's got me pumped about it, though. This is a rhythm-based puzzle game. I did play a little bit of it, but I don't remember anything about it. It's called Frequency. It kind of reminds me of Guitar Hero or like DJ Hero, where you're on this track and you have to like switch pads and press button prompts at the right time. It was a $3 game. Even back when they were clearing out PlayStation 2 stuff, games were down around $3 were like not, like people were not looking for them. This is still a really common game. I love the cover to this. This is one of my favorite covers on the console. It's understated. I think it's really interesting, but I don't think it sold very well, and I couldn't get into the series, but I kind of maybe need to try it again. It's a tactical RPG like Final Fantasy Tactics, but it's sci-fi with mechs, and I think that's what put me off. And this is the only game I've ever played in the series. But it's Front Mission 4, and I love the way they're like laying down asleep but going in opposite directions. It's a mech tactical RPG, and when you look at those pictures on the back, it's just like gray, just gray and green mechs. I know that's what it's all about, right? That's what they go for with the Front Mission games. Blandness. It's like a post-apocalyptic world, but whatever the case. This was a bargain bin game forever. It was like the PlayStation 2 game or the Xbox game or the GameCube game you could grab for $10 that was like a lot of fun. I played through this, I think every single character and beat it, and I think almost maxed out every character to level 99, but I have not played it since it came out. And it's Gauntlet Dark Legacy, and I think this one's like kind of expensive now. But it's kind of like a silly over-the-head action hack and slash game. It reminds me of that game Medieval, kind of like combined with Diablo. I don't remember there being a lot of puzzle elements in this. It was mainly just a mindless hack and slasher, but it was good. The Gauntlet games are fun. I think I played this, but I can't remember. I get this and Onimusha confused, but it's Genji Dawn of the Samurai. I don't know if I've played this. I might be thinking of Onimusha, or maybe it is like Onimusha. I don't know what the deal is with this. One of these games, either this one or Onimusha, I got stuck at a part where I was supposed to like hit a switch, and I couldn't like get the switch to work, or the switch wasn't there or something, and I like looked at a walkthrough, and I was doing the right thing. The game just like bugged out, or I missed something. Anyway, I got frustrated and quit. I don't know if it was this or if it was Onimusha, whatever the case. If you've played this, let me know. I can go look online to see if I played it. Matter of fact, when I edit this video, I'll say if I played it or not right here. This one I did play, and I did beat it. It's a lot of fun. It was another gift from my friend. It's a guitar-themed action game, kind of like Parappa the Rapper. And it's Guitaru Man. Very cool. You can see how much he paid for it there, $12.99. I thought this is a really fun game. Pretty challenging, but I will say this, I beat it in one sitting the first time I played it. So I liked it a lot. It's sought after now, I believe, but fun game if you can find it somewhere, and it's not too expensive. This game has always been kind of rare and sought after. Even back when I first started collecting, it was like a $40 or $50 game. Now I'm sure it's up over $100. I found it at a flea market. The guy knew what he had, but not completely what he had. He sold it to me for 20 bucks. I didn't finish it, but I played a good way through it. I kind of want to play it again. But it's God Hand. Very cool game. Very strange. I've never played anything like it. It's an up-close, like, not fighting game, but like punching game where you dodge and block and punch. Kind of like Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, but more zany than that. It's like an over-the-top, almost anime-style game. But this one's sought after for a reason. Capcom did put it out. Capcom like kind of ruled the PlayStation 2 now that I'm realizing it. But fantastic game. Highly sought after. Hidden gem if you want to use that term. But I recommend it. I love this series of games. Most people do. It's like one of the premier game series right now, and it has been since it was on the PlayStation 2. I've played them all on other consoles, on remasters and re-releases, but this is the only one I own on the PlayStation 2, and it's God of War 2. I did own God of War 1. I got it when I was in college, and I brought it home to play it, and while I like got up to go fix some food or something, very southern, fix some food, make some food, my roommate started playing the game, and the freaking guy proceeded to just play all the way through the game in one sitting, and it like spoiled it for me, so I went and traded the game in. So I don't own any of them on the PlayStation 2 other than this one. But this one I remember being the hardest one in the series, especially on the hardest difficulty, and those challenges were like really challenging. But I think I got the Platinum Trophy on this on the PS3, or close to it. I platinumed like a lot of them, or got really close on most of them. Great series. Here we have another shoot 'em up. I have played the third game in this series on the arcade version on the PlayStation Portable Collection. It's not one of my favorites, I have to say. It was kind of hard, but maybe it's better here. As for the fourth game in the series, I have also not played it at all. And this is a compilation of Gradius 3 and 4. Let me back that up so you can see it. There we go. It's just a horizontal scrolling shooter like all the other Gradius games. They're the Gradius games. If you've played them, you know what they are. Most people know what Gradius is. It's got a really interesting power-up system that I like, but as the games progress to me, like further in the series, like the first one's great, the second one's great, but not as good. The third one like kind of trails off, and the fourth one, I don't know. The fifth one, we're gonna find out, because here it is, Gradius 5, and this was made by Treasure. Treasure made this, I think, right? The same people that made Ikaruga, they were like commissioned to make Gradius 5. This one's supposed to be really good. This is on the Shmups forum, this is on the Shmups forum top 25 greatest Shmups of all time list. So, excited to play this one, it's in the backlog. I'm gonna replay 3 on here and 4, and then this one, so we'll get to them. I think every person my age in the world put about 150 hours into this game. It's Gran Turismo 3 A-Spec. This was really the first racing game I ever played that felt like a fully fleshed out racing game like you would expect to play today, like Forza or any of those. Before that, they're all very arcadey, but this one, like grinding for the licenses and buying new cars and all that sort of stuff, was a lot of fun. All right, you know what's next. Grand Theft Auto 3. I only played it a little bit in college. My roommate had it. He put like a bazillion hours into it. I felt like I'd fully experienced it, so I haven't really played through it since then. I don't know if I should add it into the backlog or not. I did play it a little bit. Same thing with this one. GTA Vice City. I know this is a lot of people's favorites. Maybe I need to spend some time with this. I did play it a little bit. Like I said, when I was picking these up, I wasn't really into playing my games. I was just trying to collect as fast as I could because it was like a worldwide fire sale. Like every game was really cheap. I think I picked these up for like $1 a piece. This one I have never played. It is in the backlog. And depending on how I feel about this one, I might go back and play GTA 3 and Vice City. But it's GTA San Andreas. And I know this is like a huge, fully fleshed out, fantastic game. I'm just looking at my copy. My copy looks like fantastic. You know, these old games, like they get like a film of dirt on their surface, and you can feel it when you hold the game. It's like textured. This is like slick, like a new game. Here's one by Vanillaware. I've never played any other game like this, and I spent some time with this, although I did not finish it. This is a side-scrolling tower defense game with like, I don't know, fantasy witches. It's called Grimoire. People say Grimoire, but I always say Grimoire growing up. I don't know, maybe that's the way they say it in French. Very cute. I think this just got a re-release on the PlayStation 4. I'm not sure. I didn't like it enough to go back and get the re-release and play it again. I love Vanillaware. I did spend some time with it, but I'm not super into tower defense games. And as I recall with this one, you're like in a vertical tower. So people are like coming in from the top and the bottom and the scrolling up and down. Like, I don't know. I want my tower defense to be like, you can see everything on the screen, or they're coming in from the sides. Although they are kind of like just coming in from the sides at the top. Oh, I remember what it was that frustrated me. The enemies, there's like floors of your tower, and they come in and they go down the stairs. But some of the enemies were like ghosts, and they could like pass through the floors. So where I would position my stuff, the freaking ghost would just like go around. That was annoying. Like playing a tower defense game where like one of the enemies like can circumvent all your defenses. I don't know. That frustrated me. But I did put some time into it. A Working Designs game. I have not played this. I don't know anything about the series. I think it's a tactical RPG, but it's Growlancer Generations. And man, Working Designs games look so good. They really knew how to put out games. If they hadn't had that penchant for making the difficulty higher on all their Western releases, I think they would have stayed around. They took Japanese games and they brought them to the West. They pumped them up in these big, nice collector's editions, and then they made the games harder. They were already too hard. But this is heavy. Like, this feels like it weighs as much as like 3 freaking PlayStation 2 games. And look at this. thick, huge, thick manual, like 2 discs. Man, working designs. I wish they were still around. Everyone has told me this is a fantastic game. There's another one in the series that's supposed to be better on the PlayStation 2. I haven't played it. But it's Gungrave Overdose. And this is one of those third-person corridor shooters, kind of like Final Fantasy VII Dirge of Cerberus. They kind of reminded me of each other. As a matter of fact, in my mind, they like bleed together. So I can't remember which one's which. But I think I did play this one a little bit. This is where I played and beat this game on the system. It's one of the most loved franchises of all time. A lot of people consider it to be one of the best franchises of all time. I think it's up there. It's Half-Life. This is really the first-person shooter that was like super immersive that I ever played. I mean, Doom and Quake and Wolfenstein were immersive, but like this felt like a real place, like this facility you were in. It was a very cool game. All right, here we go. Heavy hitter. I traded a Vectrex for this. Was it a good deal? At the time, it was an okay deal. Now, I don't think so. I think this game's about the same price, but the Vectrex has like gone way up. I've never played it. I want to play it. It's Haunting Ground, and my copy is complete. It has a little bit of damage right down here at the bottom where like the insert got outside of the case and got rubbed a little bit, but apparently a fantastic survival horror game. It's like $400 or more or something like that. I traded at it at about $400. I don't know if it's gone or up or down since then, like I said. But looking forward to this one. Glad to have it. Glad I got it when I did, because I feel like it's only going to keep going up unless Capcom remasters it, which they probably will one day. Anyway, excited to have that one. I don't know where I got this one. This just got picked up randomly, but it has like a freaking reproduction cover in it. This is not the original cover. I can see that it was printed out. Somebody pulled one over on me somewhere. The back of this looks terrible. It looks like it's a 3D collectathon, but it's The Hobbit. And I'm sure this came out around the time of the Lord of the Rings movies, the Peter Jackson ones. They're trying to cash in on that whole thing, but this does not look like an official game. I say that, and then I look right here, and it says official game right at the bottom. Obviously, they had to license it from J.R.R. Tolkien's estate, so I don't know. That looks awful. Does that make you want to play this game? Could they have taken any like dumber screenshot? It's just like him walking down a path next to a bridge. I don't get that. I don't get that sometimes why companies do that. I really like this series. I played this one on the PlayStation 2. Once I got back into collecting and I picked up my first PlayStation 2, this is the first game that I got with it. It came with the console. I paid $20 for a PlayStation 2 in this game. It's Hot Shots Golf 3. And the Hot Shots golf games are just really like cute, cartoony golf games. There's nothing too crazy about them. They're just good golf games. And of all the sporting games out there in the world, the ones that I'm more likely to play at any given time are golf games. This is done by Quantic Dream, the people that did Heavy Rain and Detroit Become Human. David Cage is the guy that wrote this and I guess directed it. I played all the way through this game and I had a good time with it. It was very dated and it was going well. It was like a murder investigation kind of game. Anyway, the end of this game goes off the freaking rails. It just jumps the shark, like it's going along, everything's okay. It has like a supernatural thing and then all of a sudden it's just like whoop, like it's Indigo Prophecy. Oh man, what a crazy game. The killer is you. You're a suspected killer. Maybe you did it. Your memory's gone or something like that. Give it a shot. They'll probably remaster this and remake it at some point. Well, all right, guys, there's part 1 of my PlayStation 2 collection. We're to the J's. Oh my God, I almost knocked everything over. We're to the J's. So there's going to be another part after this, so stick around and watch that when it comes out. I would really appreciate that. If you're liking the video, consider subscribing to me if you want to see more of my content. It comes out every single Saturday. Leave a comment, I answer every one of them, and like the video. That's the best way to help me in the YouTube algorithm. I really appreciate all the support, guys, and I want to thank you for it. I also want to take this as an opportunity to thank all the channel members. You can see their names on the screen right now. If you'd like to get your name on the screen, sponsor a section of a video, leave a message for other viewers, then go down to the description and click the link to join the channel, or you can find me on Patreon at my Patreon campaign. Every dollar goes right back into this channel, and I really appreciate all the supporters. So thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate you, and I'll catch you next time.